Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and you are watching the holiday edition of Mixed Martial Mindset with myself and John Fitch. He has a lovely silver tree right next to him, folks. I got my little Santa Claus hat,
Works as
and
my conspiracy theory cap also.
it doubles. It's got two
Doubles.
great uses. Yeah, it doubles. We try to make do with what we have here and try to get as much use out of everything. So the other 11 months out of the year, there you go. It's a great use for that.
Yep. Yep. We also have our skeleton from Halloween is up on the tree.
Is that what you top your tree with?
No. It's like a 4 foot tall skeleton. It's like in the tree, and it's got ornaments hanging on it.
You got it. Why haven't I seen that on Twitter? I mean, I don't do Instagram, so if you're putting it on Instagram, I'm all out on that. But if I haven't seen it on Twitter, I'm shameful. I have like a little Santa Claus bearded thing on the top of my tree. I don't want to go angel. I don't want to go star. I figure, the kids are old enough now. They know Santa isn't real.
They have. I didn't even know that this existed, but they have Die Hard ornaments. So you could get the tree topper. It's like a building blowing up with Bruce Willis swinging down. That you could put that on the top of your tree.
Oh man, that's a game changer.
Yes, that's definitely a game changer. I think I know what I'm topping the tree with next year.
Well, you know what was my big game changer, and then we'll do all the introductions and we'll get into talking about this, was for Christmas about 3 years ago. It was like, you saw late night television, but it was the thing that had like a round thing on top, and then all the lights were LED bulbs that came down. And then there was like 27 different light things that you could put it in. So instead of having to wrap the tree and check the bulbs, all these are LED bulbs. It's a one-shot, one deal. They literally hang down after you do it. It takes 5 minutes to set up, and there's like 26 different arrays. The kids love playing with it. I got it for $17 at Rite Aid. So
see, I bought a fake tree.
Oh, it's fake.
It's got the lights in it already. It's a part of the tree.
I've seen those. Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
You just plug it right in.
So you don't have to do anything. So you don't have to even wrap the tree. Yeah, it's great.
Perfect. All right, guys. So you're watching Mixed
fluff it
Martial
out.
Mindset. This is John Fitch. It's the holiday edition. If you don't know who John Fitch is, you should definitely go to johnfitch.net and check him out.
Merry Fitchmas.
Yes, Merry Fitchmas.
Merry Fitchmas.
And obviously, mixed martial arts legend, so he's going to have a lot to say, not only on the upcoming cards, but hopefully the upcoming year. We're going to recap the UFC in Korea, the back-to-back Bellator, and then kind of preview what's to come with this McGregor nonsense. I hope nothing, but we are 3 weeks away, and boy, that is the MMA media push. If you want to listen to this podcast after the fact, you can check us out on thegruelingtruth.com via audio. That's where to find us. And, of course, you can thumbs this up and subscribe. Join the Burmis Brigade right now. So, let's start with Frankie Edgar getting chinned up pretty quick. And in my opinion, yeah, you give Frankie Edgar the benefit of the doubt back in those Gray Maynard fights in those days. But they could have definitely called that a little earlier. Did you see that or no?
I saw some of the replay. He looked pretty banged up. Yeah, I mean, especially guys who've had some bad knockouts or been knocked here and there, and they're already chinny. I think you kind of have to prepare for it a little bit.
I mean, I watched the fight, and unfortunately, first of all, once again, hey ESPN Plus, fuck you. How fucking dare you put on a card where literally the only two real names on it are the main event, and at 2 a.m. live when it goes, you have to have, I believe it was on ESPN regular, so you still have to have cable to watch the prelims, and then at 5 a.m. you get to watch the main card. So anybody who decided to sleep in and they decide to turn on their app to watch what they pay the $5 paywall for already knows who won, because it's I mean, literally, Edgar on the ground just getting knocked out in your thumbnail. So thank you so much for that, ESPN Plus. I really do appreciate that. I also appreciate you upping the cost to $65 again in light of another bullshit card with McGregor that has less than 5 top 10 anybody's in the whole card, and you want the additional $5. We all knew the paywall was going to be there, but when's it going to be $100 for a Conor McGregor rape event?
Yeah, and it's gonna be, it's gonna be worse than boxing because it's gonna be like you get all the undercard shit free or whatever on your whatever that's behind the paywall, and they'll put up a new paywall for the main event stuff. It's gonna grow to that. I mean, like when a monopoly is formed, things just get shittier because there's no competition to make them not be shitty. It's just the way it goes. Like it'll happen. It'll happen. Trust me. There'll be a Conor McGregor type card or something big like that, and it will be behind a second paywall.
Mm-hmm. So let's go through this card. It seems like they're trying to feature the women, at least on the pay-per-view. Holly Holm, Raquel Pennington, okay, that's a good fight. It's a good fight. It's not for a belt. Holly Holm, exciting to watch. She's traded wins and losses now pretty much through her entire UFC career. I don't think she's strung together more than 3 in a row, John. And maybe not even 3 in a row, maybe 2 in a row. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Fun to watch. Yeah. Raquel Pennington, sure. She's top level in that women's division, but it's a shallow women's division. Andre Fili, is he top 10 in his division? I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure Sadiq Youssef is not. Then we get down to Gedalia Grasso. Again, we're talking about women's strawweights here. That's more of a fight night card. And then, look at what a slap in the face this is for $65. I believe it's either it starts with Roxanne Modaffray with Macy Barber, or it's Nazarat Hadbarask versus Drew Dober. And again, Drew Dober, been around a while. I enjoy watching his fights. I feel like that's more of a prelim. He's not surging or anything like that. That's $65, that card. I go down. I have to scroll down to see Oleksiy Olenek. For anybody I recognize in the heavyweight division, although I have seen Green fight, but most people haven't. I think he's got 1 fight under the UFC. And then Pettis and Tim Elliott. Everybody else is kind of like, maybe I've seen them fight. They certainly, maybe JJ Aldrich, again, another woman's. They're really stuffing this with women's. It's funny to me, what are there? Seven fights with women?
I wonder what the payouts are.
They're so light, and the cost of the tickets were crazy. Not only that, but hey, ladies.
That's what I'm saying is like they load it with women and they're like, oh yeah, progressive women card. But really what they're doing is they're cutting costs. Like they pay less to the women.
Yeah, no, 4 or 5. All right, so I think there's 5 women's fights on there. That's 10 women. Hey, ladies, maybe you want to check out what the main card guy may have done a year plus ago in Dublin and nobody seems to give a damn about. Maybe you should read some of those Irish sports star stories, huh? And you're getting your ass kicked for $3,000 to show and $3,000 to win. Maybe you want to speak up for women everywhere. You got the mic.
They raised the baseline to 10-10 after we dropped the lawsuit.
I don't think it's going away, dude. I think it's just one of those things now. They've litigated it to where they realize they can bring it to that 3 to 5 year mark for a jury trial. And they're going to try to milk him for as many fights as they can in the next 24 months. And they're going to pray.
For McGregor, yeah.
They're
going to get as much out of them as they can, much value out of him as they can. He's going to use that money for his court defense.
You better believe he's gonna. You think that's a joke? That's not a joke. And by the way, it's already all over the web that Cerrone's been paid to take a dive. I'm not saying that, but so much so that Cerrone actually had to address it. But he said,
many people were talking about it.
Yeah, that's not me. First of all, I'm not Mr.
Man, like these guys, they create a pro wrestling atmosphere. They cater to pro wrestling fans. Run a pro wrestling business model. They reward the guys for acting like pro wrestlers and cutting pro wrestling promos. What do they expect?
Well, Weidman actually just came out this week and told, I forget what outlet it was, but he basically said, listen, Dana encouraged me, told me to talk trash during the Anderson Silva fights so I could, hype the fights up, and that's just part of it. Hey, Kali Nakas, thank you so much for that pair in a jogging headband cool sticker. You getting a lot of I know you get a few super chats. You get the super stickers yet, John?
I haven't got the stickers yet.
Yeah, the stickers, they're fun. I wish you could put a message with the sticker. I think that would be better. because it's either or. But of course, Google trying to work that monetary system.
Yeah.
That's the pay. You got a sticker paywall and a super chat paywall. We'll get them both.
They'll monopolize it, and then they'll start charging every letter like the newspaper. Like Twitter will grow to that. You have to start paying per letter to print. I mean, that's not even ridiculous when you think about, like, we still pay DVD prices for streaming a video. It's ridiculous.
I don't understand those people that would pay $19.99 for a stream of something once.
Oh my goodness!
And especially
you can buy it. You can buy it, but it's still like.
I mean, look,
you don't actually physically own it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. For me, I'm such I've been a digital rat since the late '90s when the Nutella and Nutella. That's how I got into documentary filmmaking. You know what I'm saying? Everything that I could grab, whether it was the latest Hollywood movie or government documents or a presentation from somewhere or obscure documentary, I had it. And I used to burn CDRs and then DVDRs, and now, dude, I just have hard drives of stuff because now you don't even need to plug them into your devices. I mean, wirelessly. I mean, I cast a lot of the stuff that I grab right from here. Me and the kids after this, we're going to be watching the Muppets Christmas Carol, one of the best versions out there, getting ready in the Christmas move. And
see, I haven't even upgraded to that level yet. You can Bluetooth your hard drives, your externals.
Oh, bro. Of course you can. Bro, dude, on this thing now, right here, if you have like an Xbox One or something like that, it's straight up, I can cast from my computer this in 1080p like that. I can control the whole thing on my phone without even an IR blaster. If you haven't bought yourself an Xbox, man, forget about the video games. Just get one of the used ones from Craigslist for under $100. It's an entertainment machine. You know what I mean? It really and it DVRs for you. I'm not. Hey, guess what? I'm not paying $65 to watch that trash card you're putting together, UFC. And I hope it does worse than Rise of the Skywalker or whatever. I hope I hope it doesn't happen. I hope the Burmese Brigade gets out there. Go to my Twitter right now and retweet that thread that talks about McGregor. But let's shift gears. Let's shift to Bellator. That's really the pre
two shows, and was odd. The 2 shows in one weekend.
It is weird. So what am I going to get to see here? That's another thing I don't know, because I have to zone only for Bellator, another paywall. I paid the $100 for the year, guys. And you know what? I think that's a fair price. I'm probably watching, I don't know, 20 to 25 Bellators a year. I go to 4 or 5 of them. And I get 2 or 3 boxing matches. Maybe I wouldn't have watched, but I watched the Ruiz-Anthony Joshua rematch. That was entertaining. I know there was another big one on this weekend I didn't watch where one of the boxers quit and got booed. I hate that. It's like,
Jr., I think.
Yeah, don't boo the guy if he quits. Like, what do you want? You want him to die in there? Fitch, tell him.
I think he might have had a broken hand or something. But yeah, I don't know. At least that's what he was. Somebody, I read it somewhere. I don't know. I'm not for sure, but I think it's his dad is a legend, right?
Yeah. I mean, again, the way I'm looking at it is this is combat sports, man. If you're getting in there and you're top level and you're throwing in the towel, it's not like you're doing it because you took a payday. This wasn't an aging fighter. This is boxing. People forget. Less than 6 months ago, in a 1-month period, 3 fucking guys died in boxing. 3 in less than a month. They were pretty high. I mean, a couple of them were pretty fucking high profile, too. It wasn't like, blah, blah, blah.
Man, it's a level of just, I don't even know, man. Entitlement. Like, risk your life and die, for some pennies. And then you're going to grow old and no one's going to give a shit about you and pay for your medical bills and anything else you have to do. Like, it makes 0 sense. Fight for me because I paid $2 to watch this.
I love combat sports, John. I love it. I've loved it for... I love boxing even when I was a kid. As far as I can remember, like you, I was a wrestling fan before I figured out it was fake. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I've loved this forever. I don't want to see anybody die. I'm not at gladiatorial levels.
I don't need that in my life. It's really, I test the skill. I want to see the skills. I want to see strategies. I don't even care about, 2 guys throwing terrible technique and it's a bloody fight, like I don't really care. Like I could watch. You could go to San Francisco and watch some bums fight, and what's the difference?
I'll tell you. Well, who was it? I saw McKee's kid. McKee's kid threw up a crazy arm bar. Did you see that on Campos?
Yeah, well, he was man, he was being aggressive, and then the guy bucked him. He slid into like an upside down triangle position. Went for the arm.
And you know what? Kudos again to Bellator. You know, they may not have the biggest names on those back-to-back cards, and screw them for for not telling me I wasn't getting my Barnett Ronnie Marks fight until literally the co-main was about to come on.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even know. I was like watching the thing and then scrolling through Instagram at the same time, and they're like, I saw a tweet from Scott Coker or whatever, and I was like, what the fuck's going on?
And they didn't tell you till it was like almost midnight.
Yeah.
It was literally like, well, not for you, but for me it was probably like 10 after 12. And don't get me wrong, entertaining card for sure. But the second night, I think, was the Campos AJ McKee, headlined by the Alimale McFarland. They put her in there with a tough chick. Honestly,
Yep.
I think that was a good fight for her because it was somebody gritty. She came up on the Ultimate Fighter. She didn't give up. Had a good chin. Obviously, still got dominated. You know, Alimale is a good face for them to push. I think that in the real world, is she top 10? Sure. Is she top 5? Maybe. Is she the best in her division? I doubt it. You know what I mean? There's still some world beaters over in the UFC. I like her. I think she's getting better. I like the fact that she's with 10th Planet and her jiu-jitsu's looking better as well. What do you think?
Yeah, it's all hard to tell. It's always just hard to tell who's good and who's not good because like everything's rigged anyways. It's all pro wrestling. Like there's no meritocracy. Like there's no, this person beat this person, so they move forward. It's just, what do you want to put on? What show do you want to put on this time? Oh, let's make those people fight. Like it's difficult. It's difficult to have a real judgment about how good somebody is.
Well,
so you almost have to take the fights for face value.
And you know what though? But I look at like the Pitbull brothers.
It's fun to watch. Like it's just frustrating to me.
I think the Pitbull brothers in the UFC. I mean, there's a chance they take the belt. You know what I mean? Those guys have delivered time and time again. They've showed adversity. They have lost. They've come back.
Lima very well could be. You know,
that's what I'm saying.
Guy. Like maybe that's a.
I mean, Lima's again at 170. He's massive, and to me, I mean, he gives Usman problems. You know what I mean? He's again, his wrestling is unproven, but a guy like you, I mean, you know what we haven't talked about yet? Last week we forgot to talk about Rory going to the PFL. He's obviously looking for that $1 million headhunt, and we've got
path of least resistance to the money.
And we've got that coming up as well on New Year's Eve over in the Hulu Theater. 6 millionaires could be made, but how many names are coming out of there? That's the next thing. But as a mixed martial arts fighter,
I have my suspicions about where the funding for PFL comes from.
Let's hear it. Come on, here we go. It's Christmas time. Conspiracy theory with Fitch. Put the hat on.
There's been a long history of just odd behavior between WSOF, PFL, and the UFC. And I'm wondering if some of this big money that came in is tied to them in any way, WME in any way, because the more competitors out there that offer big money like PFL, it makes it look less like a monopoly. It's more of an argument in the if it goes to a trial, if we go to a jury trial in the class action lawsuit. It doesn't. Our case isn't as strong because there's these competitioners. They can go here and they can go here, and look, they can win $1 million at this place. So it makes sense for them to prop up another organization. There's also from documents and things that have been released publicly, it looks like there is certain financial ties between certain organizations. Like it's all very fishy.
Well, why do you think Viacom can't get over the hump with Bellator then? I mean, listen, you know, they do really smart promotions, right? While I was watching I'm not sure if you caught a lot of the commercials during the Troops one, but, you know, they got David Spade in there and other Hollywood actors and other athletes. And, you know, the names are there. They've got them in the front row. You know, they've still got some big. I mean, listen, I like the fact that they put on the show almost Pride-esque style. I like the runway. I like the background.
I like the fire, the pyrotechnics.
Sure, that's all fun, and it makes sense for the level of live attendance that they get at these shows, right? So all of it,
make it an experience.
Yeah.
People should have an experience.
yeah, and it makes you want to come back. It's still reasonably priced to go to these things. What do they have to do? I mean, I was thinking about it the other day, John, because I'm thinking to myself, who could compete? And do we need an organization kind of like that's just superstars at MMA? They say, listen,
You as long as the business structure is allowed to keep going the way it goes, nothing's going to change. It's
Yeah.
only going to get worse. Like,
But-
because there's the promoters control the title, they control rank and title and exclusive contracts. It's a conflict of interest. It's always going to be shenanigans because there's no one to push back on them. Having no cross promotions is a problem. The fact that they don't have to share the revenue streams with fighters, contracts that last forever, signing 9 fight deals to somebody and never allowing them to get to their last contract until you're ready to cut them or get rid of them. It's just nothing changes until you change the foundation of the sport. No bargaining agreement, no union, no nothing will change anything until you change the fundamental structure of how mixed martial arts is allowed to operate.
I mean, it just surprises me because Viacom has the money, right? Obviously, they don't want to lose money on the venture, but mixed martial arts has proven to be, an ever-growing revenue stream. They're making more and more money every single year, no matter what they're putting out. There's now over 100 major shows you could argue a year. Even this back-to-back Bellator, they got Venom and Page in there. They're putting them in there with another top 48 guy. I think I'm being generous. Top 48. Honestly,
they got a picture for him this time?
What's that?
They got a picture for him this time?
Yeah, they got a picture. I've seen him fight, actually. It's Shinsho.
Well, I trained with him, yeah.
Yes, Shinsho and Zai. But again,
Grabaka, I believe.
Well, what are you doing? You're not even putting him in with a top 10 Bellator guy. It's a joke, man. Fitch, this is what you got to do. You got to put your foot down.
He is a local, though, so people are going to show up to watch.
It is true. Everyone's going to show up to watch because it's at the Satayama in Japan. I mean, they're coming. No matter what. The Fedor, I believe this is on the Fedor. Let's see. Let's go through that card right now. We got Rampage Fedor. Beautiful. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is like the card of the year that most people don't know about. Chandler Outlaw, I want to see that fight. Honestly, Outlaws look good. Chandler, I mean, he's a gritty guy, but sometimes gritty guys fall off during the middle of their careers, and that's the end. Page, again, I hope somebody puts it on his chin like Lima did. Larkin versus Nakamura. Don't know much about Nakamura, but I would assume he's in for a long night. Or a short one.
I don't know, actually. I've seen him fight some. And Larkin is a win some, lose some type of guy.
That's true. That's true.
I wouldn't count Nakamura out.
And Nakamura
honestly.
could be on the juiciest of juices over there.
He's at home. He doesn't have to travel. He doesn't have to deal with the dietary changes. He doesn't have to deal with the sleep.
And I think the other one's contracted. By the way, Venom's not even making 170. I think they're contracting it at like 173 or something.
Says he's flying so far. He doesn't make weight.
Let's see. I don't know much about Alira Joanne and Kate, and then Darren Krushank. I mean, he's got a name, and I've watched Goita Yamaguchi. I've got Yamaguchi, but that's a fun fight. See, those are the Japan fights I like.
Yamaguchi's been looking good, right?
What's that?
Yamaguchi or Yamauchi?
Yeah, Yamauchi.
Yamauchi.
I think I've seen him fight. And I expect him to beat Krushank, but that's a fun one. What do we got? Do we have anything for prelims in here? Is that just it? Do they not have any of the prelims otherwise? Huh.
Probably more locals. I would think they would do as many locals as possible.
Well, this one's supposed to be on Paramount and DAZN, so and some Japanese station. So I'm not sure exactly because I think Rizen's is a separate card, like a day and a half later or something. But this one actually does start at 10 p.m. 10 p.m. on the main card. That's what they're saying. So, I mean, I don't expect to see the Emelianenko fight till after New Year's. That the walkout might not be till almost 2 a.m.
Oh, geez.
I mean, think about it. That's on television, 2, 4, 6 fights. That's at least a 3-hour show. I know they're not going 5, right? There's no way. I don't know that Rampage could breathe for 5 rounds
They
anymore.
definitely want to finish.
Dude, I haven't seen Rampage in forever. Are you thinking George Foreman, second run as the champion? Rampage, or you think he's coming in slim?
No, he's been showing up doughy to everything he's been doing lately. So he's probably gonna be doughy for this too.
I would assume doughy. All right, so let's talk about it. We're in the holiday season, John, and the new year is coming up. Obviously, the UFC's banking on big McGregor dollars. Still haven't had a press conference. Still haven't had any kind of promotion at all other than Twitter and the Mockingbird MMA media.
At all?
What's that?
Are they selling tickets yet at all?
I think it's sold out.
Oh,
I'll go to it right now, actually. I checked the other day. There were still tickets the other day. They're ridiculously priced. But let's see. T-Mobile. Is that it right there? Yeah. Hold on right there. T-Mobile Arena events. It could be sold out already. UFC. Or is it going to take me to damn UFC.com? I hate that. Let's see. It could actually be done already. January 2nd. Buy tickets. Still some left. Let's see. Get tickets. Because they're pretty reasonable, John, for that awesome card you're going to see with 5 women fights on it. Hey, you know what? Maybe for the extra money, McGregor will beat and rape one of the women fighters right there in front of everybody. Instead of several eyewitnesses in Dublin, he can do it in front of thousands of people at the T-Mobile Arena. Go Connor.
Oh, man.
Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Is that what I said? Yeah, there's some tickets. They're, again, $1,500 for that ticket right there. One ticket. $1,500. Wow. That's not even floor. That's not even floor. Want to see what the floor is going for, John?
Floor, $1,500 ticket?
No. The floor's not 15. The floor, here we're in the back of the floor. Oh, I guess those are 15 too. 15. There's a $2,250. Let's just rack it up. $7,500 for a few tickets, no problem. Let's see, is this another $1,500 ticket? Oh, that's $6,000. $6,000 for that floor seat right there. Take a look. $6,000 to watch less than 5 top 15 fighters all night. $6,000. John Fitch?
Crazy. And how much of the percentage of that money is going to the fighters that fight that night?
Well, I believe that the cocaine and crack fund for McGregor is going to take up $2.2 million for him and his Irish gangster cronies just off the bat. But he's going to take care of the alcohol with his proper 12. So, they're kind of making out. I mean, I think that the gate alone has a chance to take in $15 million or something ridiculous like that. It might be the biggest gate in MMA history for 2 fighters. No offense, Cowboy. You're a top 10 dude. I'll give you a top 10 at 170 for sure in the UFC. Maybe top 15 all the way around.
Succeeded, man. Pro wrestling all the way.
But that's what you're paying for. That's the event to kick off the new year. And that's the thing that they're going to measure everything against, John, financially afterwards.
What else can we get away with? I can't believe we got these idiots biased. That was something that Dana White had told us in confidence somewhere, was like he was talking about the proudest, the fight he was most proud of. And he started to go off on this thing about the Ken Shamrock Tito fight, right? Because Ken Shamrock hadn't won a fight in how long, and like Tito was not doing that great or whatever, and he put that fight together, and it was like the hugest fight ever, and it was a fight that was real quick, and everybody was pissed, and he did another one, he put them back to back or whatever, so it was like a fight that never should have happened, and he got to do it twice, and he was like, that was his proudest moment of promoting.
Yeah, I mean,
I was like, you're a fucking slime ball. You're a real piece of shit.
I mean,
like, okay, guys, check it out. Look at how I ripped all these suckers off. Ha ha ha! That's my proudest moment. Got him. Got you, you stupid fucks. Thanks for the money. Ha ha ha. Paying for my drugs and hookers. Thanks.
I mean,
What a piece of crap.
I wish we lived in a different reality, but we don't. We don't, John. And it's sad on a lot of levels. And I'm really, again, I'm pushing for it. Guys, I'm pushing for it. I'm pushing you out there to take great power. You have great power. What's up, ladies? I hear you over there. What's going on? I'm on the air live. So I'll be at like 7 o'clock, and then we'll watch the movie at 8, okay? All right, bye-bye, baby. Anyway, guys. Hey, and that's why I do it. I mean, if you got a kid, if you got a little girl that depends on you, you think about this being your little girl, okay? So you come over here, you give it a little retweet, you give it a little thumbs up, you show this thread to people, not just the video of me making the thread and the accusations, but let's read it for people. At the end of the day, there is no doubt this young lady suffered a horrendous ordeal. The examinations and all the evidence shows that she was raped and very badly assaulted in that penthouse suite. And remember, we can scroll all the way down because it's a long thread. I could have made it longer. For those that think she's a gold digger, again, she turned down over $1 million+ already. There's a complete media blackout of this. This happened over a year ago. Yeah, over a year ago, and people are not talking about any of it, John. So give it a retweet. Tell him you don't want to see this fight. Tell Kevin Iole he's a real piece of shit for the number he did with Dana White, promoting this and acting like a real journalist. Hey, Iole, guess what? I saw you fucking cage side at the last event, at the Usman event, and Colby, in your little orange shirt. Good for you, buddy. Way to sell out. Way to sell out for that spot. That's good for. I'm awesome. I'm glad you got press credentials for that. Ugh, it makes me ill.
Gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
And that's the other thing. They control the press credentials. How is anybody supposed to go in there and give an honest account of these fights if they can just say no?
When they pull your credentials, if you say the wrong shit. It's insane. It's insane. It's been going on for so long, and all the journalists know it, and everybody's too pussy to say shit about it. It's crazy.
That is one of the crazier aspects of it, right?
The craziest thing to me is this is the fight game, and it's filled with just pussies. The weakest, most cowardice douchebags asking like they're tough, all while they're getting bent over. It's just sad.
Talk about that irony.
Press to the fighters, to everybody, the commission people, everybody. Yes, Dana. Like, it's sad.
And just so everybody knows,
you're gross, people. You're gross.
John talks a lot about masculinity on his daily show over at the official John Fitch. If you're not subscribed, go over there and subscribe right now. You finally, I haven't caught it yet, but you had your psychic on. How did you feel about your interview with a psychic?
It was nice guy. It was fine. He didn't convince me of anything. We didn't really get into any debates. It was more like background, like how'd you get into this? Why you do this type of stuff. And quite honestly, like I don't think there's any difference between what he's doing and what a lot of psychologists or shrinks are doing to people, counselors are doing. It's whatever. I think there's as much evidence supporting what a lot of those counselors are charging $200, $350 an hour for as somebody like him is doing.
So it's basically like a gypsy cold reading all the way around from psychology. And you're not wrong.
Well, he used a little bit more like psychological terms and stuff like that too. He said he didn't want to get to like too hokey type stuff, but he did make a couple predictions. He said something might be happening around February 10th or 12th for me. So we got to keep an eye out for that.
Hopefully that's when I'm going to be sitting cage side for your title fight.
This might make some people mad, but he also said he didn't see Yoel Romero winning a UFC title.
I don't see Yoel Romero winning a UFC title.
So we'll see. Like, I don't think he knows who Yoel Romero is, but one of our guys is a big fan, so he asked.
Who was it? Ad Boxer one? I could see that being him.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ad Boxer.
Yeah, he said, "Do you foresee Yoel Romero winning UFC title?" That was pretty good.
That's good stuff. That's good. All right, so yeah, we're coming up, and you know what we should do?
It was a good talk. I mean, we'll probably have him back on some other time. I mean, I was, nobody was being asking too critical or whatever, because like at the same time, it's like I don't think that stuff is real, but at the same time, like I think he's giving a different definition to the same thing I'm giving definition to. Right? He says he has vision, he can see and predict things coming forward. And I say, oh, maybe you just have a developed sense of pattern recognition. Maybe you're just really good at recognizing patterns, and then those type of patterns in people's lives, and you can pick up on things, and you can tell people, well, this is likely going to happen because these other things have happened to other people. Human beings are animals. We're more similar than we are different, and a lot of our behaviors are very similar. And if you can pick up on certain behavior patterns, I don't see why you couldn't predict something that's going to happen to somebody.
The Human Animal, one of my favorite docu-series of all time. It talks about a lot of different of those things, of like pair bonding and, just our fight or flight reflexes throughout competition.
Those just basic things like, you don't let certain things go. Like it's going to drag you down and haunt you, and you end up holding yourself back. And he said some stuff like that, but it's kind of like normal self-help type of stuff.
Exactly. And by the way, if you look at like a guy like Darren Brown or whatever, who does like the excessive stuff, that's where he starts with NLP, with Tony Robbins, with Richard Bandler. And a lot of that, again, is getting in your own head and kind of harnessing your own self-power and using that not only to negotiate with other people, but to psych yourself up, to get yourself ready, to practice something again and again and again and not feel weird about it. Because I think that a lot of people become more and more self-conscious when they're trying to achieve a goal. Like, oh, this is stupid. I don't really need to go through these steps to do this. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm an idiot. But, it's the one that sticks with that and, gets pounded down again and again and again. It keeps getting up that eventually will be successful. Because let's be honest, man, in everything in life, you're not just handed anything. Nothing's just handed to you. I know that's crazy.
Even somebody who's born with a great singing voice usually has to develop that singing voice over time.
Yeah.
And then they have to develop other skills because just singing isn't enough. Otherwise, you're going to just be a buckster and stand on the corner and people are going to throw money to you. You're going to have to figure out some management stuff. You're going to have to figure out some marketing type stuff, or you at least got to figure out and be smart enough to put people you trust in charge of that. You're still going to have to put together budgets and all kinds of other shit. So you're still going to have to develop skills. Nobody's born just ready to go.
No, it's exactly right. You're always going to have to work at things. So next year will be right before New Year's. Actually, will it be? No, it'll be right before New Year's Eve. So we should probably do a top 5 best things in MMA, top 5 cool things in MMA, and the top 5 worst things like the BMF belt being a thing. Unless you think that was one of the top things. I'm sure ESPN did because it was their top. I think it's going to outdo the McGregor pay-per-view. I really do. I don't think as many people are going to buy into this. They haven't hyped it up. They know they can't just have... Again, guys, there's a reason there hasn't been a press conference yet. Believe that hype. Okay? I'm telling you right now. They don't want real questions. Or maybe they're just having trouble getting him into the country since he has 19 fucking convictions in Dublin and 2 open investigations into rape, one of which was violent. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm kook. Maybe I should put your tinfoil hat on. Here, I'll lean over, John. Just put it over on the side. And McGregor.
Inside. There it is. No,
we did it. Oh, McGregor. Oh.
Got it.
And there it is. There's the interactive shot, guys.
That's a very good point. That they just keep them away from the camera, keep them away from the mics. That way, nobody asks them tough questions.
And then I don't know, man. It just seems like the fishiest fucking thing. And I'm so sick of it. And I'm so sick of the fanboys still defending him after. Like any sensible person that's looked at the shit that I've sent them, they pull back. I get a DM from them. Hey, man, I'm sorry.
That makes bad.
And then all these other anonymous people are still trying to tell me it's not him. And none of those articles are about him. And that it's not even proven that it's him. And those WhatsApp messages are fake.
Probably Ari.
You think it's hard? Have you ever had a hero fall really that hard?
It's probably Ari, the owner, the president of WME. It's him. It's one of his fake accounts.
Yeah, Ari's got some sock puppet accounts. It's what is it, Pierre Delecto from Mitt Romney?
Yeah.
What level do you think that they go for that kind of disinformation? You think they got the sock puppet accounts?
I mean, you're talking about $1 million industries. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't see why not. Why wouldn't they? And it's not just that. It's a money printing machine. Like as long as they just keep it operating, like nothing happens, and they're going to just keep printing out this money. Like there's nothing going to upset the cart except for the lawsuit and Ali Act, right? The Fighters Association. Like, but that's the only thing that's going to upturn the apple cart. So as long as they keep that under wraps and from happening, like they just keep printing money.
You know what? If it does happen, and I'm praying again with your help, guys, it doesn't. I hope Cowboy just walks in there and kicks his goddamn head off. I mean, it just ends the whole hype train, and it's all over, and he's got to retire, and he goes to prison for the violent crimes he's committed. And fairy tales exist. And 2020 becomes the greatest year ever. And, you know, we find out who killed Epstein, and we arrest everybody else who was involved with him.
That would be great. That would be great.
So what's your take on? Have you heard the new Epstein thing? Is that they originally lost that footage?
The original tape is gone too now.
But they found it. They said so. Like 2 days later, they say they now have the tape, and then the same day that came out, the dark web came up with some hoax video of somebody like lying dead in a cell who's supposedly Epstein, but it's not. You know, it was just like this weird hoax thing to come out to try to distract all those idiots that still believe that message boards and superheroes are real, and a guy in, you know, intelligence is telling them the truth and to trust the plan.
Kind of like Comet Pizza.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, with that, James Alefantis, scary guy.
Weird.
Do you know about James?
Such a weird.
Listen, I'm not even going to talk.
There's so much weird about him, and that was what they did. They focused it on the pizza parlor instead of that guy.
Well, I'd say not only that guy, but all right. So we got a little time. This will be a fun little right before Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. This is the kind of subject matter we should talk about. But with those emails, all right. Well, let's look at the reality of it. John Podesta talks to his brother Tony about their buddy Denny having to go on an island because of the child abuse allegations against him. Now, Dennis Hassert is who they're referring to there. Dennis Hassert was the Speaker of the House. He was the third in line for the presidency. He was labeled by a judge 3 years ago now, I think it was, as a serial child molester. He was doing this when he was not even in government, when he was a coach and a gym teacher. There are still court cases of him raping a fourth grader in that school going on today. Okay? I've reported on all this stuff. So now they're joking about that because they spent summers with Dennis Hassert at children's camps as counselors with him. Okay? So let's get a little deeper on those emails. Now, on top of that weirdness, right, you have the very odd fact that WikiLeaks tweeted out, look for signs of child trafficking, and then they tweeted out that FBI document that was not part of the leaks, but was something that was publicly available. Now, obviously, you have the Haitian kids scandal with the Clintons and their group that was kind of brushed under the rug. But when you talk about Alefantis, I accidentally had tweeted out about James Alefantis all the way back in 2012, which obviously would have nothing to do with these emails, which didn't leak until 2016. And it was because Alefantis was the boyfriend of David Brock. David Brock is, for those that don't know, no longer, but he was the head of Media Matters. Now, a lot of people don't know this about what's
Hillary's campaign manager too?
It gets weirder than that. So David Brock, you know, this guy who's kind of a Soros disciple running these things, before he became David Brock, the left-wing Soros disciple, he was a huge right-wing author, and he was closeted. He wasn't out as a homosexual yet. So he's this right-wing conservative, and then when he decides to flip and go work for the Clintons, he writes a tell-all book, John, where he even claims that he went on a blind date with closeted Matt Drudge. Okay? Oh, now we're getting deep. Now we're getting deep. So why did I tweet about James Alefantis in 2012? Well, because David Brock was being sued by his former boyfriend on weird allegations of shifty shit going on that he was going to go public with. And Alefantis, who was Brock's then current boyfriend, had also been named in that lawsuit. I believe all of it was settled out of court, and no names were named, and nothing was mentioned. Now, aside from Alefantis being a pretty heavy donor to these people and having one of the most bizarre fucking Instagrams ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And being connected to sex stains and their videos about pedophilia, which was like a band that played there and all that other stuff. Mm-hmm. You look at the art galleries that he was into and how he was also connected to a woman named Pamela Kafritz. Now, Pamela Kafritz ends up being a woman connected to Nexium. And their little shifty game of funneling in teenage girls and younger from all over the world.
People need to understand that these super elite, powerful people, they're very small circles that they're running. Tiny. You know, like how many billionaires are there in the world?
Yeah.
How many have $100 billion?
And
like,
you
not
know
very
what?
Many.
I'm just gonna end it on this with Alefantis. I interviewed a guy named his whistleblower name is Big Fish. Okay, admittedly, I do not know his real name. I've never met the guy. I found him through another researcher where I couldn't believe what I was hearing, but this guy alleges that he actually did hack into the Comet server, right? Okay. Now, he says he got in there and that there was an upload and download section that was encrypted that had bad things on it. And that he sent that to police officers in D.C. Now, this is where I know at least that part of it's true. So he had email exchanges with these guys back and forth. He published these emails. Now, obviously, if he didn't do this, he would be up for, fraud and he could be arrested, et cetera, et cetera. On top of that, he recorded phone calls of himself trying to bring this up with the police officers. All right? Now, if you don't know this, John, it's hard to believe, but we'll do it live. We'll do it live here. When that gunman went in to Comet Pizza and he fired off one shot, maybe two, it's not really clear. Guess what he shot?
What did he shoot? The server?
Comet Pizza shoots computer. And if you look, it's exactly what he did. Damaging. Oh, come on, man. I hate these pop-ups. There it is right there. So if everybody doesn't believe me. Well, it's also shot through the lock of a closet, damaging a computer. Now, if you go and you read other articles, it supposedly damaged the hard drive, right? There's actually a video of James Alefantis opening the door and showing the bullet hole through the top of the computer case. Didn't pierce the hard. I do computers for a living. Didn't pierce the hard drive. The thing should have been undamaged because that's where all the information lies, right? But they're saying it all got damaged in that convenient shooting. Now, I'm not a crisis actor guy. I never said that. I'm not even saying the crazy person didn't do it. I'm saying that's shady as fuck. That somebody comes in.
Has that guy been suicided yet? Has he been Epsteined?
No, that guy.
Still around?
He's doing his jail time, man. And I don't think that, as far as I know, Alefantis is even in the country or has been for some time. You know who else hasn't been in the country for some time? Sarah Bronfman, Claire's sister. And by the way, she just filed court papers to have her sentence hearing postponed yet again. It was supposed to happen on January 8th. We're not sure that it's going to. Those 10,000 pages, John, that's not getting ruled on until January 16th.
We're out hanging out with Roman Polanski somewhere in Europe.
Roman Polanski, he's a party boy in Europe. He's accepted. People don't even care about that shit there. It's crazy. Claude Hadid, Jean-Luc Brunel, man. We live in a really twisted world where, on one end, we live in this society now where women are supposed to be super powerful, but We won't even address the real horrors that are going on against them in not only second and third
human
world
trafficking
countries.
that go along with the smuggling across the border, the pedophiles and rapists, like
First world
the
countries.
actual
We're talking about
legit ones.
European first world countries right now. You know, those guys, the Jean-Luc Brunel, Claude Hadid, those guys were running teenage and preteen girls for decades. And you did nothing. And you acted like you were going to stand up to Harvey Weinstein. And guess what? A 16-year-old model has now come out against him. He's going to walk, baby. $25 million he doesn't even have to pay coming out of an insurance fund. That's the real deal. He set himself up where he'll probably profit from the thing in $150 million payout. And he only has to pay 20.
That's what these people do. Like they put money aside because they know they're breaking the law. Like, oh, this is my fund for if I get caught or when I get caught.
That's the real 5D chess, bro. Like that. Listen.
Well, I'd say the UFC and this lawsuit we have with them, like they allotted this money. They put money aside to deal with the lawsuit. Like this isn't coming out of pocket. This isn't hurting them at all. Like they planned for this. They knew they were doing something illegal, and eventually it was going to come to litigation. So let's put this money aside so that we have it paid for in the court.
What am I saying? I think that I'm sorry. I'm seeing some chatter in the chat, but I'm gonna ignore it because I can't figure out what's going on. I'd love to address it, guys. I don't know what drama's going on in the chat, but clean it up in there. Clean it up. Everybody's all friends. It's the holiday season. We got about 10 more minutes to go here, John. What do you think is gonna happen? You got Rampage or you got Fedor?
Probably Fedor. I think he's probably going to be more prepared.
You mean juiced up?
or I mean, it's like he's training more.
I think he's training more too, but I think he's gonna. I bet you Fedor comes in like Machida level against Chael. Machida looks super good against Chael. Like I was like, damn, that's the dragon right there. You know.
But no, so I don't know. I just don't think Rampage is putting in the
effort,
same amount of work. Yeah, the same amount of work as Fedor is. Yeah, just the feeling. Like it's more about a show and a payday for Rampage.
Well, I mean, I don't mind that, man. See, that's my thing. Like, that's why I think if you had, all right, picture this. Picture in a.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care either. I think those fights and that stuff, the fun fights would be funner and make more sense and be cooler if you still had some kind of merit system. If you had a legitimate ranking system, if you had an independent title, you had cross promotion, then the fun fights, sure, why not? I'm all down for the circus fights. I'm down for Kimbo and whatever the hell. Like, let's watch it. That's cool. Okay. But like it all gets washed out, I think, when there's no merit and everything's a legitimate fight for title contention then.
Superstar MMA, 12 cards a year, one a month, John. One fight contracts. We never sign you for more than one. Top level guys from all organizations come in off your contract or while you're negotiating. We put together the circus fights on top. 10 fights a card. 4 on the prelims, 6 on the main. Why can't someone make that happen? You know, let's not just do the 80-20.
All the top fighters are already tied up. That's why it's hard. You can't start with nobodies, and it's hard to build. Like people already know the certain names. Like everybody knows that UFC is the top. So any fighter who gains any amount of success wants to go to where the top belt is because that's where the most money is.
Well,
You have to go and fight for them to be considered a legitimate martial artist these days.
I just feel like it's the era where you can kind of get away with a little bit more. You can go and maybe you get sued. I mean, I still remember that fiasco where Rampage came back and fought for the UFC against Maldonado for one fight while he was still under Bellator contract. Really, and you never heard much about that. I'm just saying we're in an era where somebody could make money, have guts, and forget about just the. You always talk about that boxing 80-20 split. Let's start with a 50-50 fucking split. Let's see if we can even get there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you even started there with an organization, just like I said, and you just tried to pick up.
I mean, already you have. I mean, the UFC is designed to only ever pay out 19% of event revenues. Like that was their projection moving forward, making deals with people. It's like, hey, look, this is all we're ever going to have to pay these guys. But you do have other organizations that pay, closer to 60%. I think Bellator is somewhere around closer to 60%. Strikeforce was up there as far as percentages go. So like, even though these other promoters are willing to pay more to their fighters, they're not making enough money to compete with the UFC. They can't make any real bids on people. The only reason any other organization gets guys that are cut from the UFC is because the UFC doesn't want them and they don't make an offer. Like even with the guys who went to other organizations, when Rory came to Bellator or guys went to NFC or whatever, like UFC didn't make an offer. They just released them, and it wasn't a bid. It wasn't a bidding war.
Well, again, I mean, I think if you could lock in, that kind of card, or you can lock in that system where PFL is doing and have $5 million set aside, to pay out a crown, and you probably got to set aside another $5 million to make all the other fights happen. That's 10. I think you'd have a shot, man. I think Rory leaving and going to the PFL is good. I don't know.
No, I mean, but the PFL is on their second season. Nobody knows who the hell they are. Nobody watches their fights. Nobody knows when the fights are on.
Well, again, why are they putting like some of their stuff behind a paywall 2 ways? ESPN Plus. First of all, if you want to sell the PFL,
how do they go from paying a broadcasting company to showing their stuff? Like they had to pay out of pocket to like get their stuff on TV. How'd they get from that to behind a paywall?
Yeah,
there's something fishy there. It's fishy. Something's going on, guys. I don't know.
John Fitch, conspiracy theorist, but if you want to check out everything John Fitch, it's johnfitch.net. This is where you can support him on his Patreon, over on his YouTube channel. You definitely want to click that right now. Go over, subscribe, check out what used to be The Shake Break and is now John Fitch Knows Nothing. We got this on thegruelingtruth.com in audio form after the fact, so that's where you can find it and share it with others. I've got a message here I'm going to have to go check out, but you can go over to my Twitter right now. That's what I need from you guys. I'm going to ask you for money in a second, but first, go to my Twitter and retweet the damn thread. Retweet it. Let's not let Conor McGregor fight. Thumbs up, share. We do this once a week. I think we're almost in month 4. We'll have the Before New Year's show with the top 5 awesome things about MMA this year and the worst 5 things about MMA. Here's my GoFundMe. I love it. John Fitch, what do you want to leave the audience with?
I have a seminar coming up January 18th in San Jose, California at American Kickboxing Academy.
So an
it's going to be a basic self-defense course, which is basically it's something that would very much help with abduction and it's I refer to it as space management. Space management is just controlling the distance between your hips and your attacker's hips. Something that can be very valuable in a situation where I've seen some videos on. They're crazy, man, on my feeds and on my timelines, and like cars pulling up, people walking down the street, jumping out. Guy grabs a girl and then jumps in the car with it.
Happened in New York City last week. On video in New York City last week. It's a real thing. Men, women, you know what? John Fitch, one of the toughest living human beings at 170 pounds. You might want to take his advice. So it's on January 18th. It's on the McGregor fight day.
January 18th, 10 to noon right now. We're going to have 30 to 35 spaces available. If we fill that up, we'll open up and we'll do a second one later that day. But yeah, it's going to be here in San Jose, and I'm going to be hopefully taking this kind of on the road, and I want to do at least one a month for a while and build it up, even maybe do 2 a month, and then eventually turn it into a video course. Also, a lot of stuff coming. But I'll be putting up clips on my Patreon. Also, I have another video I'm ready to put up today for my Patreon. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of technical work, not just podcasting all the time.
Yeah, and you are podcasting all the time. So there it is, at johnfitch.net, at Jason Burmis on Twitter. Guys, I absolutely love you, and I'll see you on the flip side right before the new year after the big Bellator shows. Later, everybody.